Hello, my name is Helen Harwood. I'm the Great Shelford village historian, and Anna's asked me to present this scrapbook, which is about Great Shelford Library. And the scrapbook is something I did when the new library was opened in, I think it was 2009. And the whole Shelford community was so excited to have this new library, and it's a beautiful building. It's beautifully stocked. It's absolutely full of books and computers, and we were just so excited to get this wonderful new building. And I thought I'd do this scrapbook as part of the opening project, and in fact copies in the time capsule, which is going to be opened in 2056, but I also thought we should have one in the library to remind people of how we got here. This is almost the first library we had in Shelford. It was the first one run by the county council, and it was actually in the High Street. It was a nice little cottage, but very, very tiny, and it was only open a couple of afternoons a week. But demand in Shelford soon took off, and so soon the library moved to Woolard's Lane, and it got first one little building, which is that one there, and then it got the house next to it. And for many, many years, that's what everybody remembers as Shelford Library. Well, of course, it wasn't built to be a library. It was full of little rooms and passages going round corners and things. So it wasn't necessarily suited to a library, but that, in a funny sort of way, gave it its own charm. And everybody always remembered that old library with great affection. And in particular, if you talk to people, what a lot of people say they remember is story time. And here's a picture of story time from, not quite sure when this would have been, maybe 70s, 80s, something like that. And here's the librarian, Janet Ingle, and as you can see, she's got a crowd of little children all listening excitedly to the story. And if there's one thing this library is really about, it's about children. We've got a lovely children's library now, and we've just started story time again, so that children can come and be read to, and just discover that whole magic world which is books. Well, so that's the children. We've always had a reasonably big team of librarians, and I suppose that's the other thing we remember over the years, all the different part-time librarians we've had. And here you can see the team from 1967, Frida Morley, Mrs Polger, Joan Morgan, Joan Lewin, Nora Gestico, and that is another of the things that's made the library such a lovely, friendly place. Well, libraries have their ups and downs, and we've had a number of financial crises over the years. There was one in 1997, I believe it was, when the library was threatened with closure. And as you can see, the community turned out to try and save the library. And we were lucky then, we didn't lose our library. And then in 2003, again, there was a funding crisis, and 10 rural libraries were closed, but again, ours wasn't one of them. So that's the history of the library, and our history is great, really, but I think we should always be thinking about the present, and I think what I want to say, just to wind up, is libraries are so important. They're an example of cooperation, and what they give us is infinite access to books and knowledge. Just come here because it's yours, and so I think this is a very precious place.